Hello and welcome to Unlocking Possibilities, the podcast that will help you to transform your life and or your business from the inside out. I'll be bringing to you the best of NLP and cutting-edge neuroscience of your multiple brains. I'll be exploring how these transformational coaching modalities have the potential to change your life. And if you're interested in training to coach others in NLP or MBIT, then listen out for more information about my training courses and how you can become an accredited NLP and MBIT coach. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Unlocking Possibilities with NLP and Coaching. I'm your host, Sarah Fletcher, as always, an NLP trainer and a success coach. So here we are today talking about a very simple thing that you can do if you find yourself a little bit stuck. So we can all find ourselves sometimes stuck in overthinking. Perhaps you've got that internal dialogue that is just whirring round and round and round. It's almost like you're on that kind of roller coaster ride and you can't get off it, and it's just keeps going and going and going. Perhaps you are stuck with some unhelpful feelings in your body. Perhaps you're feeling in a low mood, or perhaps you're stuck with procrastination, or just feeling a little bit in a funk and can't get out of it. Maybe you are creating some unhelpful images in your mind. Perhaps you're thinking about potential things that might happen in the future and you're catastrophizing and imagining big, scary things, and you're playing out a movie that doesn't have a very good ending. Or maybe you're making pictures about things that have happened in the past and you're remembering things that have happened, and you can see, perhaps you've been in an argument with somebody and you can see that person and see their face and hear their voice. Or perhaps it's something that you've done and you can see yourself in that situation and you keep thinking about it and giving yourself a hard time. So in NLP, it shows us how we process information in our mind and our body, because thinking actually doesn't just happen in your mind, it happens in your body as well. And we can get to know ourselves and others a little bit better by observing, wait for this, by observing what we do with our eyes, because your eyes give you clues about how you are processing your experience, how you are storing it and coding it on the inside, how you are emotionally processing it, and how you are thinking about it. So I'm going to show you in this episode how you can get a little bit more in tune with your own eye clues to give you information about how you are processing your experience. And if you're finding yourself stuck, what you can do really quickly and easily, remember, let's keep it successfully simple, what you can do to shift some of this. So are you ready to find out a little bit about how you process information? So this is universally true for the majority of people. If you find that this isn't true for you, then it might be that because it's the other side that is dominant for you. So you might process the other way around. So let me just introduce you to it first. So the eyes give us clues about how we are processing our experience in our mind and in our body. So if you look up to the left, then generally, universally, you are remembering things. You are recalling information. And you can do this after this podcast episode and practice it and get to know yourself a little bit better. So when we look up to the left, we are recalling, we are remembering information. So if I asked you, think about the holiday that you went on last year, then chances are if you're picturing it and you're imagining it through pictures, so this is the visual remembered, you will be looking up to the left and imagining pictures and images. So on the other side of that, when you look up to the right, you are visually constructing images. So you are imagining things. So if I was to say to you, imagine where your favorite holiday would be. Or imagine doing something that you haven't yet done that you would really love to do to create a picture of that, then generally you are looking up to the right and imagining and creating that thing. So up left is visual, remembered and recall. Up right is visual, imagined and creation. So you're probably already getting a sense of what might be happening when you are getting stuck in pictures and images that might not be helpful. You might be imagining things in the future, so looking up to the right and creating scary pictures or worst case scenarios and imagining in images and pictures what that's like. Or it might be that you are looking up to the left and going over and ruminating and recalling past memories that have maybe been difficult or, have not been a very good experience. So this is how we store images in from a perspective of memory, recall, and imagining. So then the other thing that we can do by checking with our eyes as to how we're processing information is, again, we can look to the left, to the side. And instead of looking up this time, we're looking to the side, to the left, and auditory recall, auditory remembered. So sounds, and to the right, it's auditory imagined and auditory created. So you might say to yourself, what's the sound of your favorite music? So you will remember what that music sounds like, and you will hear that by looking to the left. And you could say to yourself, I wonder what a piece of really loud heavy metal music might sound like if you've never listened to heavy metal, or what really nice calming music would listen to if you've never listened to calming music, and notice what that sound would be like. Or it might be that you're hearing somebody's voice. So if you said to yourself, remember the sound of your favorite teacher's voice from school, look to the left and hear that auditory, and again to imagine what the sound of I can't think of an example, but imagining and creating, looking to the right. And then we also look down. So when we look down to the left, we are processing language, so like internal dialogue and self-talk. When you look down to the right, you are processing emotions and feelings. So here is where it gets really interesting, particularly if you are finding yourself stuck. So it might be that you're stuck in images. You might be remembering past experiences that have caused you difficulty, or you might be remembering it in internal dialogue. You might be listening to a conversation that you've had with somebody and playing that over and over. It might be that you're stuck in feelings, that you are feeling in that low mood. So you're looking down and you're accessing these difficult feelings. It might be that you're visually stuck in imagining things that are unhelpful. So what you can start to do, and this is where self-awareness is really crucial when we are talking about understanding ourselves and recognizing how we process our internal world, because you'll have patterns of thinking that you're probably not even aware of until now. Hopefully you've started to get a little bit of insight already. So we have patterns of thinking, and these patterns can be really helpful, but they can also keep us stuck. And what we're talking about here is when you find yourself stuck in a certain pattern, we can do things to get out of that. So if you recognize that you're looking down to the right and you're stuck in emotional feelings that are heavy and, burdening you, perhaps you're stuck in a low mood, or feeling unmotivated or can't get yourself going, or maybe even stuck in anger and frustration with somebody. And you'll find that, you're looking down to the right, and these emotions might feel quite heavy and consuming. So, what you can do, you can start to move your eyes so that you process different things. So, if you're looking down to the right and you're feeling these heavy emotions, I wonder what would happen if you looked up to the left and remembered a really happy time. Perhaps you can remember being in your favorite place. Perhaps you can start to create that image and that picture and make it big and bright and bold. Or perhaps you can remember a time when you were with somebody that made you laugh and made you feel good. So perhaps you can see their face and bring it closer and notice what it now feels like on the inside. So you can move your eyes to shift how you are processing your experience on the inside. It might be that you are stuck in visual imagined, creating and imagining worst case scenarios, picturing things going wrong. Perhaps you're going for, I don't know, maybe giving a presentation at work and you're imagining all the people staring at you and you get your words wrong and they're laughing at you and you're fumbling over, the things that you want to say, and you're creating this picture, and it's big and it's bold and it's like, it feels like it's happening now. So, how about if instead of looking upright and imagining that scary, not very good scenario, how about you look down to the left and start to hear some self talk? Start to hear yourself say things like, I've got this. I'm going to smash it. I've done it before, or I've done something similar before, and start to kind of tell yourself some really positive stories about yourself. Or it might be that you look up to the left instead and you remember a time when you've succeeded at something, a time when you've been successful, a time when you felt really good. So, what you can begin to do is you can begin to shift the energy in your body, shift the processing in your body to create something different. You might be you might be remembering, something difficult that's happened in the past. Well, what you can do instead is look up to the right and imagine what you want it to be like in the here and now and in the future. How do you want to feel? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? So we can start to use our eyes as clues as to how we are processing our internal experience. And this really is the structure of magic, because when you start to have more self awareness about how you process your experience, how it's stored, not just in your thinking, in your mind, but also in your body, then you can start to play about and move your eyes into different places to have a different experience. And it really can be as simple and as quick as what I've just, what I've just demonstrated there for you. And yes, there might be more layers that you need to get to the bottom of. And there's, all sorts of reasons as to why we get caught in these patterns of thinking and these habits. But even just trying on this simple technique, recognizing that your eyes give you clues about how you're processing your experience. So, just to reiterate, when you look up to the left, you're looking up and you're visually remembering something. When you look up to the right, you are visually imagining and creating something. When you look to the side, to the left, you are remembering sounds. When you look to the look to the right, to the side, you are imagining sounds. When you look down to the left, you are listening to self-dialogue and your internal voice. And when you look down to the right, you are experiencing feelings and emotions and sensations. And what you can do is when you are noticing that you are stuck in a certain pattern of thinking and it's unhelpful, maybe, there's like I said before, a constant internal dialogue going on that's not helpful. Perhaps you're berating yourself, telling yourself off, causing yourself shame and guilt. Maybe there's those feelings that are heavy and overwhelming, etc. All the stuff I've already talked about. So what you can do is move your eyes and have a different experience. Have a play about with it. Move them up. Picture and imagine to the remember to the left an amazing experience that you've had and how that made you feel. Look to the right. Imagine and create what you want for your life. Look down to the right and get some really nice feelings in your body. Look down to the left and have some really powerful and empowering internal dialogue with yourself, and start to have a play about. The first thing is to be able to have self-awareness around what you're doing on the inside and how you are processing your experience. Recognize then when you're stuck in a certain modality, and in NLP we talk about the visual, auditory and kinesthetic modalities. We call them representational systems, and noticing when you are stuck in a certain modality and what's happening for you and in what context this is happening. It might be that when you're with a certain person, you always find yourself stuck in negative or unhelpful, unresourceful emotions and feelings. Or it might be that when you've had a certain dialogue with somebody, you end up remembering that dialogue and sort of giving yourself a hard time over how you what you said or what you didn't say, all that kind of stuff. So again, noticing in what context do you get stuck in certain rep systems? What are you doing? Is it visual? Is it auditory? Is it kinesthetic? Is it feelings? Is it internal dialogue? And then move your eyes, have some fun with it because it is fun. Move your eyes and notice what else you can experience. So I love to look up to the right and imagine and create, a compelling future, thinking about what I want in my business, what I want for my life, designing the life that you want. I love to look up to the left and access positive memories and visualize things that I've experienced, so then I can bring that into the here and now. So you can have a play about with it yourself. But the idea here with what I'm just sharing with you today is that you can get unstuck really quickly. If you're finding yourself feeling stuck in for whatever reason, visual, pictures, images, language, self-talk, internal dialogue, kinesthetic feelings, you can move your eyes and have a really different experience, because what happens then is you change how you are processing your experience, and it is incredibly empowering when you know that you can change your state just like that by moving your eyes and accessing different information from inside your mind body system. And the good news is that everything you already need is already within you. So let me know how you experience moving your eyes and processing the world in a more helpful, useful, different way, and maybe how you've applied it in your life. So tag me on socials if you've listened to this episode, at Sarah Fletcher Coaching on Instagram. Do let me know how you get on. I've also got, so at the time of listening to this, we are on the 22nd of July. Next week, on the 29th and 30th of July, I have a free NLP series. So a series of masterclasses where I'm sharing NLP for leadership, NLP for coaching, NLP for education, and NLP for personal transformation. So if you would like to sign up for those free masterclasses, then please do. The link is in the show notes. If you can't watch the live sessions, then it's okay, because you will get them on replay. So for now, let me know how you get on with your eye clues, how you move your eyes about to experience and process the world differently, and notice how you shift that energy in your body. Notice how you shift your state. Notice how quickly you can change how you are processing the world on the inside and feel differently on the outside. Let me know, and I'll see you next week.